Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. My name is Mika Illick, and you might remember me from such reflective moments as, who am I going to ask about that math question? And there's six of us in this group, but I wonder how we can all quickly point to Mika and make him do all the talking. Now, this is my reflection for my internship. So my learning goal for my internship was I will learn about technologies, old and new, and become more familiar with them. From there, I want to create an educational focus and understand the tools I shall learn from a teaching teacher's perspective and a utilizing in the classroom perspective. My internship is teaching the Grove School teachers new technologies that they can use in the classroom. So I want to focus on trying to become more effective in relaying technologies that I find useful to the teachers. And I put success criteria as I can use and explain one old tool in a more thorough way, but hopefully I could figure out a new one as well. I can chunk the tool and present it to teachers so that they see the value in the tool, and I can display the educational connections and some of the best ways to use the tools in the class or in a lesson. So I work towards these internship goals by trying to get as much information as I could from those around me to start. So I talked to Jennifer Lafayette, about my tool, which was Plickers. That's the one I really enjoy. And I worked at length on and what to plan about and how to time for it. And I worked with her and I showed her my presentations a couple times, and she kind of guided me through it. And I also actually explained it to her because she'd never seen the tool, so it was really useful for me to see what she clicked on and what things she wanted me to focus on, specifically for the teachers at Grove. And then I also took my knowledge that I had from my previous ATs, because anytime I tried to use Plickr specifically, every time I explained it just by vocally, no visuals, they seemed to kind of get it, but not really. But then when I used it, they immediately realized how useful it was. So there was that disconnect that I want to try and get really quickly, trying to think of the teachers I would be teaching. And I also worked with Talene, who is actually doing the same presentation I am, only for the Grove students. So I worked with her to do a better presentation, and hopefully I've put up an image and you're looking at it right now. And some of the challenges that I met and the strategies I used to overcome them was that I was unsure about the focus that I wanted to put into the presentation and what pitfalls I would have, because I've never actually taught teachers. Um, so what I did is I knew I worked with people in the program who were at the summer camps who taught teachers coding and different applications and tools. So I went to them and I created my own version of a narrative study of sorts, where I asked two people the same three questions, and I asked them to give me answers, and I want to see what language they used over and over and see the similarities in their answers and maybe utilize whatever I could. So I asked them what was one difference between teaching technology to teachers and teaching to children, and the one that they both really connected to was rich curriculum connections, trying to make sure that teachers are trying to always find lessons. So I wanted to try and kind of give them that opportunity to see that this is actually really applicable in their classroom in the most prominent way that there is for teachers, which is our documents that we always look at all the time. Um, and then, if you could give one piece of advice to someone who is going to teach teachers, what would it be? And it was all about perception on this one. There weren't many words that matched, but I found that the message that I got was trying to figure out how I would like the presentation to go, and making sure that I scaffold to the teachers and making sure that there's a progression that they can understand and see. And then my last question was, what is the biggest hurdle to convincing teachers to use technology in the classroom? And this is pretty standard at this point for all of us, because the ones that showed up for both were cost, obviously, which is great for me because Plickers is free, and a lack of skills or a newness to the technology. So clearly, I knew I had to work on comfortability. So I took all these things and I combined it and put it into my presentation. And then I knew I was successful doing all these things because so my first criteria was I can use and explain one tool in a more thorough way. And I did that by creating a presentation that was looked at by my internship supervisor and a fellow peer, trying to work around making sure that I was thorough and that they understood it. Because if I could explain to two people that were teachers or becoming teachers themselves, that I knew that I had hit upon something correctly. My next one was I can chunk the tool and present it to teachers so that they see the value in the tool. And I did that by, again, talking to people and seeing if they understood that they could use it in their own classrooms. And it was actually really cool because Talene specifically said that she really wanted to try this out because it's a really cool app and it takes so few resources to actually do. And then the last success criteria was I can display the educational connections and some of the best ways to use the tools in the class or in a lesson. And I did that by doing the narrative study because I haven't actually gotten a chance to teach the teachers based on timing and how it works. I'm not going to be able to do until a couple weeks from now after the course. So that's the only thing that I wasn't successful on. I haven't done it yet, so I can't fully comprehend just how much I'm going to be fully learning. But based on what I've gotten from the narrative study from my peers, I think that I've gotten a good grasp of what to avoid and how to make it even more interesting because I actually was missing a lot in my presentation before I asked those questions, and now I've added a lot to make sure that it's as interesting as possible and the teachers can use this tool. So for the next steps, I'm going to be presenting, so I'm going to see how it goes with the teachers. I'm going to be looking forward to that. And actually, next week, I'm going to be helping Trisha with a workshop, and that's another moment that I'm going to be teaching teachers again. And I hope to utilize everything that I've been doing with this internship for this for these kinds of tools in the future of my classrooms. Thank you. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. My name is Mika Illick, and you might remember me from some. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. My name is Mika Illick, and you might remember me from such reflective moments as who am I going to ask that math question about? Who am I going to ask? Who am I going to ask about that? Hey, I didn't see you there. That was so bad. Okay, okay.